Hey guys, so I'm Mrs. Martinez. Some of you may or may not know me. And I am reading you a bedtime story for the night. So I'm all nice and comfy in my guest bed, but we'll call it. So I was given this book as a Christmas present for my own children. And I figured, why not read it now? It's called A Night at the Bookstore. And while we're reading, we're going to think about our characters, our setting, our problem, and our solution. Okay, so it's called A Night at the Bookstore. And yes, it's all about Barnes & Noble. Let me get you guys so you can see the pictures here. Once upon a time, Barnesy lived in a bookstore. Every night, when the shoppers left, he stayed up late to read. Barnesy needed nothing more than a comfy chair and a good book. But one particular evening, the bookshelves were a disaster. The crayon basket had been dumped upside down. And worst of all, someone was in his comfy chair. "Excuse me, who are you?" asked Barnesy. "And what are you doing?" "I'm Noble, and I'm building a fort." Barnesy was taken aback. "But that's my reading Quiet, please." "I'm concentrating," snapped Noble. "Books aren't for building," said Barnesy. "Therefore, shh." That's very nice. Barnesy didn't like being shushed, so he moved to a less comfy spot across the room. Unfortunately, he found it hard to concentrate with the loud scribbling sound coming from... "Hey!" shouted Barnesy. "What are you doing?" "I'm drawing," said Noble. "You can't draw in a book." "Fine," said Noble. He tossed the book through the air and played fetch with it. For some of my friends, you should be able to see his tone of voice by the words that he's saying. Like when he said, "Hey, what are you doing?" And he shouted it at Barnesy. Not very happy. Barnesy returned to his book when, "What you doing?" asked Noble. Barnesy sighed. "I'm reading." "About what?" asked Noble. "It's a book about sharks," answered Barnesy. "Why?" "Because I like sharks." "Oh." Barnesy was about to dive back into his book when... "What's a shark?" "Will you stop interrupting me?" shouted Barnesy. "Sorry," said Noble. "I'm new here. I just arrived today." Barnesy took pity on Noble. He remembered being new to the enormous store full of books. "Let me show you around," said Barnesy. Maybe he'll find a book and read and leave me alone, thought Barnesy. Barnesy led Noble to the superhero section. "Wow," said Noble. He marveled at the heroes and villains, the action and excitement. Barnesy appreciated Noble's enthusiasm. "Maybe you'd like to read the book while I..." "Oh, a squirrel!" interrupted Noble, and he ran off. Just like a dog. Reminds me of the dog from Up, Doug. "No, that's a dragon," corrected Barnesy. "Right, a dragon," said Noble. He was amazed by the knights and wizards. "I love this one too," agreed Barnesy, "and it's part of a series." "What's a series?" asked Noble. "It means there are more books with the same characters," answered Barnesy. "Of course," said Noble. He paused. "What's a character?" "A character is someone who's in the story. In this..." "What's that?" Noble interrupted, and he ran off. Barnesy chased Noble from book to book. They met dinosaurs, blasted into outer space, and learned far too much about undies. What kind of stories do you think they are? What's the genre? That keyword that we keep saying to you. What What's the genre of these stories about dinosaurs and about space and about undies? And I'll give you a hint. It says clothes through the years. And it shows different kind of undies that they used to wear. What kind of genre, what kind of book do you think those are? That's right, they're nonfiction because they're giving you information. I like this rhyming one. The foods are fun. It made me laugh a ton, said Noble. It is a great book. Barnesy smiled. Please stop rhyming. What kind of book do you think that was? Looking at the pictures of the kind of things that were in that book, you think this is still giving you real information? No, the genre is clearly fiction because vegetables and food, they don't have eyeballs. I promise. Now I'm done, said Noble. Barnesy couldn't help laughing. They went to their first day of school, journeyed to the South Pole, and even spent a relaxing day at the beach. By now, Barney was itching to read his shark book. Here they are. They're not really at the beach. This is one of the books that they read. So, are you ready to pick a book? Asked Barnesy. Okay, said Noble. I choose that one. What book is Noble pointing to? He picks up Barnesy's shark book. Barnesy couldn't take it any longer. I showed you all around the store. I spent half of my night with you. Thought we were having fun, said Noble. Fun? All I wanted was to find you a book so you'd leave me alone. Snatches that book right from him. Not being a very good friend. Barnesy seized the shark book back and stormed off. Barnesy sat in his comfy chair and read. He tried imagining himself going on a magnificent shark-filled adventure. It wasn't working. Look at those teeth, Barnesy exclaimed. Then he remembered he was alone. Something didn't feel right. Barnesy thought he knew what it was. Hey, Noble, what you doing? See, the crayons are out. I really hope he's not coloring in a book again. Did he learn anything? I made a book. It's for you. Barnesy's jaw dropped. The characters are Barnesy and Noble, said Noble. Apparently, Noble had been listening. It's about our adventure tonight. If you look up here. The book we're reading. I'm sorry I yelled, said Barnesy. Noble licked Barnesy's face. So how does the book end? Asked Barnesy. Turn the page to find out. Noble answered. So you see the book and there's all those things that they were reading about. Those fiction and nonfiction books. Once upon a time, Barnesy lived in a bookstore. Every night, when the shoppers left, he stayed up late to read. Barnesy needed nothing more than a comfy chair, a good book, and his best friend Noble. The end. I like that book. So let's see. Who were our characters? Right, they were Barnesy and Noble. And the setting? Yep, right there in our title. Remember, the setting is when and where, so we know it was a night. And we know it's in a bookstore. And our problem was that Barnesy wanted to read his book by himself, but Noble kept interrupting him. I remember he thought about maybe if I find him a book, he'll leave me alone. So he introduced all these books to him. But then his problem got worse because Noble picked his shark book. And Barnesy wasn't being very nice. But at the end, he realized that he kind of liked having Noble around. Remember? It said, he remembered he was alone. And it wasn't working, him having that adventure by himself. It wasn't really that fun. And at the end, they realized that they're friends. And they like being together. And it's okay to read with other people sometimes, right? And being kind. So I'm going to ask you a question that some of you might remember from a very specific F&P testing book. So it was when we did our Fontes of Pinel, and you read with a teacher and then you answer questions. Some of you might know this book. Some of you may not. I don't want to give you the answer to what the book is. But one of the questions is, how was the beginning and the end the same and different? So think about that. What happened in the beginning of the story and at the end of the story that was the same? I know it's a little bit harder because you don't have the book in front of you, but you might remember that Barnesy was sitting here and he was reading his book in his nice quiet chair. And so all he needed was a good book and his chair. And at the end, we see same thing. Same exact part of the story. Once upon a time, Barnesy lived in a bookstore. Every night when the shoppers left, he stayed up late to read. Barnesy needed nothing more than a comfy chair and a good book. Exact same words. But what's different is that, right, you got it. At the end, it also says he needed his friend Noble. So, I hope you have a great night and sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs bite.